In modern life, we are constantly caught up in the fast pace of work and daily worries. However, few know that the lessons and principles of the past can help us solve the problems of the present. Have we ever wondered if these concepts, which seem so ancient, can influence the way we live today? Today's video will take you on a journey to discover things that not everyone knows. So are you ready to discover one of history's secrets? The lessons of the past not only allow us to better understand who we are, but they can also open new doors in our lives. In this video, we will delve into a very special topic which not only has academic value, but can also be applied to our daily lives. Let's start with an interesting question. How can the lessons of the past change the way we live today? To truly understand the impact of the concepts we are going to explore, it is essential to know the historical context in which they emerge. For centuries, civilizations have sought answers to the same existential dilemmas we face today. The Greeks, for example, had specific words to describe different types of love, each with a profound meaning that applied to different aspects of human life. However, there was one word destined to revolutionize the understanding of love worldwide: agape. This term, although found in ancient texts, did not have prominent use in classical Greek literature before it was adopted by biblical writers. The concept of agape was practically reinvented by them to describe an unconditional love, a love that expected nothing in return, a love that extended beyond the traditional boundaries of Greek culture. While words like eros describe passionate desire and philia friendship, agape was destined to be something completely different. The translators of the Old Testament, when faced with the need to translate the Hebrew word hesed, which meant a loyal and faithful love, found that there was no direct equivalent in Greek. This is how agape began to gain traction and was filled with new meaning. It was a word that the writers of the New Testament took and redefined to speak of a love that transcends all barriers, a love that gives without expecting anything in return. This concept of agape is not only found in religious texts, but has been fundamental in shaping the way we understand love in many modern cultures. But why was this word chosen? What makes agape so special compared to other words that already existed? The answer lies in the way this love is presented as an active force, a principle that does not depend on reciprocity or the external beauty of the other person, but on the willingness to give unconditionally. The love described by agape is not limited to relationships between human beings, but is also reflected in the relationship between God and humanity. In this sense, agape has a component that distinguishes it from all other forms of love: the ability to extend even to those who do not deserve it or cannot return it. It is a love shown through concrete actions, not just feelings. This type of love was exemplified by many spiritual leaders throughout history, especially in the figure of Jesus, who, through his teachings and sacrifices, showed the power of unconditional love. And so, as we move forward in our analysis, we begin to understand how this concept, which started with the ancient Greeks and was deepened by biblical scriptures, has become one of the most important pillars of modern philosophies regarding human relationships and ethics. But why is this love still relevant today? Why is it important to talk about agape today in a world so different from that of the ancient Greeks? The answer has to do with the universality of this love. In a world marked by conflict, division, and disconnection, the idea of a love that asks for nothing in return is something deeply necessary. Now that we have understood the origin and context of the word agape, it is important to highlight what makes this concept truly innovative. Even though love is a widely explored theme in various cultures and religions, agape introduces a new dimension to human love by proposing a love that does not depend on reciprocity or external circumstances. What is truly surprising about agape is its ability to transcend all conventional forms of love, such as romantic love, eros, familial love, storge, or the love of friendship, philia. While these forms of love are based on a kind of exchange, agape presents itself as a love given without expecting anything in return. It is an unconditional love, given even when nothing is received, making it a radically different concept from the traditional ideas of love that prevailed in Greek society. This notion of selfless love is one of the main reasons why agape became the term chosen by New Testament writers to describe the relationship between God and humanity. But what makes this concept even more fascinating is its ability to evolve, to be reinterpreted and applied in different contexts throughout the centuries. Christianity, like many other religions and philosophies, is not only based on a love that is experienced passively, but on a love that is lived actively. Agape is not just a quality to be felt, but something that must be demonstrated through actions. The true beauty of agape lies in its ability to overcome the barriers of culture, time, and individual differences. It is a love that is not conditioned by human limitations, and that, in its purest form, seeks the good even of those who cannot return it. For many thinkers, agape becomes a bridge connecting the past with the future, human love with the divine. And this is where its power lies, in its ability to unite, heal, and rebuild broken relationships, not only between people, but also between people and the world around them. This love is seen as a tool for reconciliation, a way to try to heal humanity's deepest wounds. Throughout the centuries, philosophers, theologians, and thinkers have tried to apply agape, not only as a religious ideal, but also as a moral and ethical principle in daily life. The implications of this concept are endless, from the way we treat our family and friends to how we interact with those we do not know. Isn't it fascinating to think that if we adopted a perspective of unconditional love, we could transform our relationships and consequently transform our society? Of course, the idea of a love given without expecting anything in return is not easy to embrace. In a world where transactions and giving to receive seem to be the norm, the concept of agape can seem unrealistic or even unattainable. However, the beauty of this love lies precisely in its inaccessibility, in its ability to challenge us to be better and more altruistic. It is a love defined not by what is received, but by what is given. This is the heart of the Christian message, a love that not only transforms the individual, but has the power to change the world. Through its manifestation in the life of Jesus, agape becomes a tangible example of what it means to live according to this principle. And although many may see this as an ideal, the reality is that agape offers a solid foundation for living a life of compassion, forgiveness, and generosity. Now that we have understood what makes agape so revolutionary, it is time to explore how this concept can be applied in daily life. While agape has been defined as a love that expects nothing in return, its true beauty lies in its ability to transform our actions toward others and the world around us. But how does such an abstract love translate into concrete and practical actions? The application of agape begins with the understanding that it is an active love, not simply a feeling experienced in the heart. This means that agape love must be demonstrated in our daily relationships, in how we treat others, and, more importantly, in how we treat those who cannot return that love. First, agape translates into the ability to forgive without expecting an apology, to love regardless of the other's faults. In our daily lives, how many times have we fallen into the trap of expecting others to act according to our expectations before showing them love? Agape love challenges this view. It invites us to give without measuring, to help without the need for someone to return the favor. This principle of unconditional generosity is undoubtedly a challenge, but also an invitation to improve our interpersonal relationships, which are often full of expectations and conditions. One of the areas where agape can have a direct impact is in our family relationships. In many families, bonds are marked by years of conflict, misunderstandings, and resentments. However, applying agape means offering forgiveness and compassion, even when the wounds of the past are deep. This does not mean that faults are ignored or that the damage is not recognized, but rather that, through unconditional love, healing is possible. Agape love does not depend on the perfection of the other, but on our ability to give love without expecting an immediate transformation. Of course, applying agape is not limited to family relationships. This love has a transformative power in any type of relationship, whether at work, among friends, or in the community. Agape invites us to see others not for what they do for us, but for what they can become. This changes the way we treat others, allowing us to see beyond their flaws and limitations. Thus, doors are open to build deeper and more authentic relationships, based not on what we can get, but on what we can give. Furthermore, agape also has implications for how we interact with the world around us. In a time when competition and distrust seem to dominate, agape love challenges us to change our way of seeing and treating others. Instead of competing, we can collaborate. Instead of judging, we can understand. And instead of marginalizing, we can include. Applying agape in our daily interactions has the power to transform entire communities, creating an environment of support, solidarity, and empathy. Another key aspect of agape is its relationship with social justice. Unconditional love is not limited to the people close to us or who share our beliefs. In reality, agape calls us to extend this love to the marginalized, to those who are suffering, to those whom society tends to ignore. This universal love is the foundation of many of the great actions of charity and justice that have taken place throughout history. In this sense, agape is more than a personal action. It is a tool to change unjust social structures, a reminder that we are all worthy of love and respect, regardless of our condition or situation. Finally, applying agape also means being aware that this type of love is not always easy. Sometimes this love can be painful, especially when met with rejection or indifference. However, it is precisely in those moments when agape shows its true strength. It is not a love given only when it is easy or convenient, but it is offered even when it is difficult, when there are no guarantees that it will be received. And it is in those moments that we find the true depth of this love. A love that does not give up, that keeps giving even when it seems there is nothing in return. Even though the concept of agape has been widely accepted and celebrated in various religious and philosophical traditions, it has also been the subject of criticism and discussion. Not everyone agrees with the idea of unconditional love, especially when faced with situations that seem to demand more practical or logical responses. In this section, we will explore some of the criticisms and opposing views that have been raised about agape love and its application in daily life. One of the most common criticisms of the idea of agape is the concern that unconditional love can be misinterpreted or misused. Some argue that if we love without expecting anything in return, we can fall into the trap of allowing others to take advantage of our kindness. Isn't unconditional love fertile ground for abuse? This is a valid concern, and one of the main challenges of living according to the principle of agape. Despite its nobility, some fear that this type of love can lead to complacency in the face of injustice or manipulation, allowing people to take advantage of our generosity without taking responsibility. It is important to recognize that agape does not mean allowing abuse or excusing harmful behavior. Agape love does not imply remaining passively in destructive situations or accepting injustice. Rather, it is a love based on compassion and responsible action. Loving unconditionally does not mean tolerating harm, but acting with the desire to heal, forgive, and restore. Sometimes the act of loving more deeply involves confronting evil, intervening in unjust situations, and protecting both oneself and others. Thus, agape love becomes a transformative force that is not limited to passivity, but also involves an active commitment to the well-being of others. Another argument against unconditional love is that it can be an unrealistic expectation in a world as complex and diverse as ours. Some people argue that, since human nature is inherently imperfect, expecting all human beings to be capable of offering unconditional love might be too high a goal. In a world where emotions are influenced by countless external and internal factors, is it really possible to maintain unconditional love consistently? The difficulties of modern life, family tensions, cultural differences, and economic disparities make unconditional love, for some, an unattainable ideal, a utopia that does not fit people's daily realities. However, this argument often overlooks the human capacity for growth and transformation. Although humanity is imperfect, that does not mean we cannot aspire to be better, to cultivate a deeper and more genuine love. Agape is not presented as something that can be achieved immediately or perfectly, but as a continuous process of learning and improvement. Throughout life, people have the ability to practice this type of love, and although it will not always be easy, every attempt to live according to unconditional love can bring us a little closer to this ideal. In fact, it is often through life's most difficult and challenging moments that we discover the true depth of what it means to love without conditions. Finally, some critics argue that the concept of agape can be used manipulatively or as an excuse to avoid accountability. For example, in some religious contexts, the idea of loving others unconditionally can be misinterpreted as a way to justify behaviors that do not deserve to be tolerated. The misapplication of agape could lead to emotional exploitation or even the denial of justice. It is essential that agape love is not used to strip people of their dignity or to allow abusers to go unpunished. Agape must be understood as a love that also promotes justice and equity, and which, although it does not seek revenge, does demand respect and dignity for all. Despite these criticisms, agape love remains one of the most powerful and transformative forces we can cultivate. It challenges us to look beyond the imperfections of others, to forgive when others fail us, and to give without expecting anything in return. In a world that often feels divided and disconnected, agape has the power to restore broken relationships, heal hearts, and unite communities. After exploring the history, practical applications, and criticisms surrounding the concept of agape, we can conclude that this unconditional love is not just an abstract ideal, but a reality that has the power to transform our lives and our relationships. Throughout this video, we have seen how agape has been reshaped from its use in ancient Greece to become one of the cornerstones of Christian ethics and a key influence on how we understand love in the modern world. What makes agape so powerful is its ability to transcend human limitations and challenge the expectations we usually have of love. It is not a love conditional on beauty or reciprocity, but a love that is offered generously, even when nothing is received in return. This love has the ability to heal, to forgive, to unite, and to build stronger, more empathetic, and more just communities. But the real question is, how can we bring agape into our daily lives? The answer is simple, though not always easy. It is about giving without expecting anything in return, forgiving even when the other person does not deserve it, and living according to the principles of justice, equity, and compassion. Every time we choose to love unconditionally, we are building a kinder and more compassionate world. If this video has made you reflect on unconditional love and how it can change your life, I invite you to take action. Start with small gestures of kindness and compassion. If you want to see more content on how to apply these principles in your life, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to receive our updates. Thank you for watching, and remember, agape love begins with a single step toward another.